Bacon gives you cancer. Terrorists, they're coming to get you.
Do you follow Russ Okung on Twitter?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah.
And Russ Okung, for a little background, he's still a very good lineman in the NFL. He's been in the NFL for like 12, 13 years, 11 years, something like that. Was an All-Pro a couple times, won a Super Bowl. He's such an interesting guy, man.
Yeah.
His Twitter, if you follow him, I don't know that he's ever even tweeted about anything that happens on the football field whatsoever.
Yeah.
He is a total, just brilliant dude who's a thinker, and he's a big Bitcoiner. But he is a philosopher, is what I would call him. I mean, do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he talks about these concepts a lot, and what, especially over the last year, it's gotten very relevant with what you're allowed to do on your own versus decide to do on your own versus what the government can tell you to do and things like that. And he also, I'm just thinking of this on the spot, you talked about having a circle of beliefs. This is a guy who's got a circle of beliefs. I mean, to give you perspective, he was one of the founders of the Players Coalition in the NFL, which is a complete social justice and racial equality group, which a lot of people, and it's all positive, a lot of people just equate that with like, oh, far left wing or whatever.
Right, he must have voted for Bernie, right? Yeah.
I don't even know that Russ votes. I really don't. And that's the point. He's kind of like an outlier. He thinks for himself on things and strongly seems to disagree with pretty much everyone in Washington, which I think a lot of people quietly can get behind. But he has talked about heavily what the media does. Yeah. And he put out this meme the other night, a video. Did you see this thing?
Yeah, because you reposted it.
I may have.
Yeah, I saw that.
I retweeted
I saw
him
that.
sometime.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So should we just play that so we have it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on, let me pull it up. Here it is. Yeah, so this was, he used one of those stick figure memes. Right. To, which you see usually as pictures, but they made it into like a funny little bullshit cartoon describing what the media does to people. And this is geared at the media as a whole. This is left wing, right wing, and whatever's in between. I'm not sure what that even is anymore, but let's turn this on.
Person. People. Person realizes people need...
Hey people, what do you want? Some news? Yeah, some news. We want news. Some news, please.
Person gives people news.
The world is round. Oh. It's going to rain tomorrow. Wow. Less people are dying because technology is improving. Oh, wow, that's so cool. Bad things happen here and then, but oh my god. We have police to catch the bad guys, so it's okay. Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
The next day.
The news is still pretty much the same as yesterday. Okay.
A few days later.
Yeah, the news is still the same. This is getting boring now. Yeah, this is getting boring.
A few more days later.
Anything interesting happen or... Nah. I don't like the news anymore.
Doesn't sell.
A wild news competitor appears.
Everybody, I have more news. Yay! Yay! Hurrah! Hooray! A man died yesterday. Oh no, that's so sad. Hey, you're stealing my audience by only telling them worst-case scenario stories which take advantage of a human cognitive bias. That means we naturally pay more attention to negative events. Screw you, pal.
The competition for attention begins.
Hey, some random celebrities that you don't care about are getting divorced. Oh no, the celebrities. Hey everyone, the sun gives you cancer. Why is this so entertaining? Bacon gives you cancer. Terrorists, they're coming to get you. There's a virus spreading around the world. Nobody can do anything to stop it, and you're all going to die.
It is funny to watch and laugh at, also because it's a meme, and you got these two news organizations.
I like the accents.
Yeah, the accents are hilarious. And for people that are listening and not watching, it's literally stick figures, and you end up having these two news organizations standing on an actual soapbox, and then people in the middle, and they're just, once the second one comes in, they start going back and forth to one up each other. And it is that we have such a negative bias, a negativity bias, that news is so reliant on what's going wrong so we can talk about it. Because as humans, even people who are the most negative, we want to at least talk about the problems to then think we're talking about solving problems. Most people aren't. As a result, they just end up repeating the cycle of what the negative is. But it's such a relevant thing. I can't even remember the cyclone that got us here, but you can look at this with Corona, sure, that's one thing. But look at it with everything, and then how we end up having these issues, because I mean, everyone always uses the example. You have on one hand like CNN, and on another hand Fox. Yeah. And they're yelling to the two bases what the base wants to hear.
Yeah.
And much of it is not, hey, look at all the great we're doing. It's, hey, look at everything that's wrong, and it's their fault that it's all wrong.
Yeah. When you look back at media and the technology they used, like there was the printing press, radio, TV, and now we're online. But each version of the latest technology had a different impact. Right? With radio, that led to the rise of totalitarian regimes in Europe.
Wait, how so?
Radio came about in the 10s and 20s, and 10 years later, there's fascism taking over a couple countries in Europe, and I'm not saying it caused that, but then TV kind of took over, and we had a period where everyone's doing okay and coming towards the middle, and now social media comes, and there's more chaos again. So I think there might be something to that. I don't know how much these media sources reflect kind of the general attitude that's going on in the country, but some people make the argument that the nuance of that particular media source plays a role in how people think.
Well, you also have standards change over time too. Yeah. So that's actually really important, because I don't know that I've talked about that with anyone on this show. The medium, your point is that the medium itself opens up the Pandora's box, which just everyone think about that from the lens of social media. Best example. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
People didn't have the ability to tweet out whatever they want and go viral 15 years ago.
And it could be one explanation. I don't know if I fully buy into this, but one explanation is how expensive is it to broadcast your channel? Radio, relatively inexpensive. People can set up a radio channel, at least they could, and spread their ideas. TV, incredibly expensive to produce the content, to distribute. For that reason, there was only 3 or 4 channels for a lot of like TV's history. And now with social media, every person has their own channel. So it's kind of the most extreme of those 3 examples. I don't know how much I believe social media contributes to us being more separated. I think it's kind of a cycle, or a feedback loop where we're divided, and social media makes it worse. But
definitely,
yeah,
because just think 20 years ago, people. Well, let's even just be safe and go back 30 years ago. People got their news, turn on the TV, 6 o'clock news, 10 o'clock news, and then they also, to talk on the phone, at that point they probably had some wireless home phones, but it's a phone on a line, and no cell phone to text people instantaneously, and they have far fewer touch points in the number of people that they interact with on a daily basis as a result of the fact that technology wasn't there yet. So the number of people to get all these views exchanged with, to see where people stand, and then therefore the law of large numbers, the vitriol that can come of that was just mathematically much smaller.
But like everything, there's 2 sides to this too.
Okay.
So with the internet, the positive view of the internet as it was coming up in the early 2000s was, if you play Magic the card game, you're going to find a web forum for that, and you're going to make all these friends and explore your hobby.
Yes.
If you have mental health challenges, there will be a forum for that, and you can find a support group, like a really positive benefit of all these people coming online and being connected. But on the other side, if you're a radical, a member of the KKK, now you have your own website too. So there's a positive and a negative of everything. I think right now we're really focused on the negatives. We take the positives for granted. So there's a balance. I don't know exactly how I fall, but there's a balance to it.